Nancy McKinstry has been Chairman and Chief Executive of Wolters Kluwer, the Dutch information services company, since 2003. Since she joined the company, the number of women in senior positions has risen from 20 to 50%. It is now the only listed company in the Netherlands that already meets the government's aim for boards to consist of 30% women by 2016. It's a great achievement, Nancy. What do you feel about quotas, though, for women? Do you feel that that is an effective mechanism for doing what you've done at your company?
You know, historically, I've always been against quotas because I always feel that to run a business successfully, you've got to get the best person for the role that you've got, and that's been my personal philosophy. I think as we evolve over time, if you look at, a lot of the research, particularly for non-executive positions, what they say is that if you have one or two or three women, it's much better than if you just have one. So I think to sort of get to a level where you have more representation on non-executive roles, the idea of kind of whether you call it a best practice or a quota might make some sense. I think within a company running a business, you still have to focus on putting the right person in the role. And so, what we focus on inside Wolters Kluwer is really getting a good pipeline, not just of gender diversity, but nationality diversity.
And what specific things have you done within the company that have been most important in achieving that?
Yeah, it's been twofold. One is that we had no talent management program when I first started, and so we created a talent management program, and we've really identified high potentials, again, not just females, but men as well, and people of different nationalities, and then we expose them to different roles in their careers so that they are ready to take that next step. And again, my vantage point is we've gone from 20% women to 50% women, particularly in senior roles, and it's all been about the pipeline.
Looking at the sort of geographical spread of your business, you're more exposed to North America and Europe than Asia and the rest of the world. Where do you see the big growth opportunities over the next sort of 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I think still the U.S. will be a very important market. And if you look at what we do is we provide information and solutions and software to doctors, lawyers, accountants, et cetera. So the U.S. is just such a large market, and there's a lot of opportunities for us, particularly in health and tax and accounting. That'll still be a major growth area. Where we're investing for long-term growth is still within Brazil, India, China. So those markets are growing well, but it's off a smaller base, and it will still take time for those markets to evolve in terms of having enough professionals, and for professionals really moving from absorbing content to actually working on tools. So I would still say those markets are relatively at the early stages.
You have quite a substantial share buyback program. Why do you think that's the best use of your cash, and do your investors agree with you?
Yes, I would say most investors very much want even more than we have completed about 140 million euros buyback this year. We try very much to balance three uses of our cash, and as a largely subscription business, we are a cash generative company. We balance it in three ways. One, investments in the business, usually in the form of bolt-on acquisitions in our major market areas. Our net debt to EBITDA, so making sure we have a healthy balance sheet, and then dividends and potentially share buybacks. So historically, we were still, paying down some debt. So it's only been very recently that our net debt to EBITDA, say in the last 2-3 years, has really come below our target. So that's given us some more room to focus on both dividends and share buybacks.
One of the things that you do is you're a member of the Foreign Consultant Committee, the government-appointed committee in China. What are the issues that they consult on? I mean, what issues are the main ones you talk about?
Well, in this case, it's very much affiliated with the publishing part of what we do in China, and this came out of the book fairs that they have and the publishing relationships we have. In China, as a foreign company, which is how Wolters Kluwer is considered, you actually have to have publishing partners. You can't really go to market without them. And so we've had long-standing partnerships in tax and legal, and these committees are formed to really discuss how they're going to move towards the digitalization of their information. So if you look, what I find quite interesting, right, is that if you look at China and India, you would have thought that the markets would move right away from print to digital very fast, and in some cases not even started with print. And in fact, you don't see that at all. You really still see a lot of consumption of print, and that they're still working towards digital. And I think what I think is fascinating is they'll probably skip a bit of the online market that many of us in the West experience and go right to mobile. Yeah. So mobile is very big, and that's kind of the focus. So a lot of what you talk about is what's happening in the markets and how that, you know, migration will work.
Thank you, Nancy. Are you ready to play long short?
Yes, yeah.
The US dollar to strengthen further against the euro this year?
Yeah, I would say that is yes, so long.
Chinese economic growth to fall?
Short.
Britain to leave the EU?
Short, yeah.
Greece to leave the Eurozone?
That one I would say neutral. I would have said short, but now I believe long. I think that it could go that way. It's a volatile situation, yeah.
No more print newspapers by 2025?
Short.
Hillary Clinton in the White House?
Yeah, long.
The European Commission to issue mandatory quotas for women on boards?
Long.
Nancy McKinstry, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.